Nebraska wrapped up their 10th spring practice here on Tuesday. Hi, Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com. We caught up with head coach Matt Rule, his wide receivers coach Garrett McGuire, and a couple other wide receivers following practice on Tuesday. We also got to see a little bit of the action on Tuesday morning as well. But the main thing is Matt Rule really challenged his team to come into this week and attack this fourth week of spring practice.
I have to watch the tape to see. The retention seemed like it was pretty good. We introduced some new situations, some new things. So kind of the challenge that I gave him last week of coming back this week, it seemed like a lot of guys, I didn't think there was a ton of missed assignments or anything. I've learned over the years, not to judge practice based upon the way I feel out of practice, good or bad, right? So I like to watch the tape because, we're getting to the point now where so many guys are doing things right that when they do have maybe a bad play, it might just be one or two. So I'm anxious to see this tape, though. This is big for us. We're kind of one of those teams that, throughout the course of the week, build up and have really good Saturdays. And I want us to be a little faster starting. So just trying to get that done. So I had a team meeting today, which I normally don't do, just to kind of challenge them a little bit. So if it wasn't what I wanted, I have only myself to blame. So we'll see how the tape looks.
Off the field, it is going to be a big week in college football as well. The transfer portal officially opens up for a 2-week spring window starting on Saturday. And Matt Rule kind of gave his early thoughts on what to expect.
I don't spend a lot of time thinking about things like that because they don't ask me my opinion. If they ask me, I have a lot to say. Probably I would prefer it was after our spring ball, so that, guys would have some time to really make a very serious, conversation. We'll meet with every player on the team the week after spring ball and just talk about, how everything went and give them a, kind of an opportunity to speak on their front. So we'll try to have really good conversations. I don't want them to feel rushed, to do that. So, but, if it was up to me, we'd be playing the spring game probably a week later. So, then I'd have that same issue. So I don't know, to be honest with you.
He also addressed if any of his current players have said they plan to enter the transfer portal.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it. You guys, I've been pretty outright, straightforward that I look at the transfer portal as a tremendous opportunity for guys to figure out where they want to go. Some people probably don't make the right decisions. Some people do make the right decisions. I think the main issue is coaches, sometimes, inducing people to leave places, for the wrong reasons. We probably have dealt with a little bit of that from other places. But I care deeply about all of our guys, and I want them all to go where they're going to be happy. So I haven't had anybody express to me that they want to do that, but that'll come. Some kids will, at some point, whether it's not now or some point, we'll look into that, and I'll always be there as a resource for them. But I'm not, I'm worried about spring practice.
And staying on that subject of transfer portal, we caught up with wide receiver Isaiah Garcia Castaneda following practice on Tuesday. He actually entered the transfer portal last October, chose to come back to Nebraska.
I never wanted to leave, really, in the first place, to be honest with you. Didn't expect last year to go the way it did necessarily, so I just felt like, it's almost like a fresh start, for me, for everybody on the team, coaches, players. So, I was fortunate enough to be able to, be given the opportunity again and just come show what I can do with the new staff and everything. So.
Another transfer portal addition for Nebraska this offseason was Baylor wide receiver Joshua Fleeks. He talked about just coming back to play for Matt Rule after being with him and Garrett McGuire down in Waco.
Oh, no, that's lovely. I mean, I know him like the back of my hand. That's like my brother. It's been fun, seeing him getting to do what he wanted to do, me finishing out my college career with him.
Is the dynamic different, the coach-player relationship after so many years as peers?
I mean, yeah, it is, because he definitely treats me like I'm a player and not a brother. So, it is pretty different and fun as well. Yeah.
I guess the opportunity to come here, how did that kind of come about for you? And, was it kind of a no-brainer to come here? To finish things out?
I thought about it really tough because if it wasn't here, I was probably going to go to Texas Tech with Coach McGuire's dad. But once they got the job and Coach McGuire got the job, he hit me up, asked me if I wanted to come, and I was like, I got to think about it though. But it kind of was a no-brainer, honestly, but it was a big choice, a decision to make.
And as for McGuire, he's been a topic of discussion, being one of the youngest position coaches in all of college football.
I think it's been great. I mean, I think unfairly, I don't know if it's unfairly, but he's had a lot of people question, him, right? Which really honestly hurts us in recruiting. We're out there recruiting and people are following us and they're like, well, I keep hearing this narrative. It's coming from our own people. I'm like, so we have to battle that a little bit. But, I always look at things in my life like what I want my son to play for him, and I'd want my son to play for Garrett. I don't know if you guys probably don't see the second half of practice, do you? We do team outside and they throw 7-on-7 inside. He runs the whole passing game. Like he knows the quarterbacks, progressions, running backs, tight ends, receivers. So I think the receivers are one of our stronger groups are coming on, and I think he's done a really good job. So I think as he starts to churn out NFL prospects, the top recruits in the country will realize that if they play for Garrett, they're not going to just get someone who's a hype guy. They're going to get a really good coach who's also going to care about them off the field.
It's been pretty good. Obviously not that far removed from playing, so kind of see the game the same way. Some of the defenses that we see nowadays is obviously what I saw as a player. And then obviously being around Coach Satt and Coach Roll previously, that really, really helped me with the familiarity of this offense that we're going to run.
And when you talk about relating to players, I think that's probably the biggest thing that jumps out about a guy like McGuire.
In my opinion, I've just seen a lot. Obviously, a lot of people run the same stuff. I'm a firm believer in showing the guys NFL tape. So if you saw me about 4 or 5 hours ago in the morning, I was breaking down some NFL tape because I think if they see the best of the best do it, they learn better than going to see a guy that, on the same playing level. So obviously being around those offenses and the different trees, so it's a little easier for me to kind of teach, in my opinion, just being exposed to that.
Coach McGuire is super smart, super intelligent, one of the smartest coaches I've ever been around. And everybody always talks about him being young, how that was going to be a thing, but I like it a lot because when he's coaching us, he not only is relatable to us and stuff, but he wants us to be active in our meetings. So he's constantly keeping us on our toes, asking us questions, and if you're not in there taking notes, you're wrong. So you have to be locked in, but it's enjoyable. You want to do it as a player in there. It's very fun being coached by him and high energy all the time. So it's definitely tough at times, like anything is, but it's fun. It's something I love.
He's real fiery. He's young, but he's real fiery. He knows what he's talking about. A lot of people probably don't respect him, or I think people respect him around here, but outside of here, some people probably don't respect him because he's so young. But he knows a lot about football. He grew up coaching football, learning about football. He's always been around the game, so I just expect people to get the same guy every day, fiery, happy, fun guy.
And finally, we are closing in on that red-white spring game, less than 2 weeks away. Hopefully the weather stays the way it is, but I think a lot of questions on how will the game be formatted in terms of live quarterbacks and just overall structure.
Yeah, it's just going to come down to numbers. I mean, if we're planning on playing a game, I'd like to play a game, and have it be competitive. That's kind of, I've done a couple years where I had to do offense versus defense, but even that I've tried to make competitive. But my goal is for it to be a competition and just to play it out.
Being live there at all in spring game?
I would hope so. I mean, that's my plan. I mean, if they're live on Thursdays, they should certainly want to be live, I think, in the spring game. But we'll have to wait and see. You never know. Guy gets a hip or something. Maybe I don't want him to be live. I don't want to box myself into a corner because I always want to do what's right for the team. That was popular. But I would like to see them play live. I think quarterbacks play way better when they're live, to be quite honest.
Huskers get back to work now. They'll be back here on Thursday for their 11th practice. Reporting with the Huskers in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com.